multiplexes.com presents Dead On Movie Reviews.
Salutations and mutilations, you're listening to Otherworldly Culture presents Dead On Movie Reviews. Tonight, we will present horror movie reviews and lively debate here on Otherworldlyculture.com and on future select Dead On Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. It's a new time this season. And I still haven't put it into my script, so hopefully I remember as we go on. You can join our live chat at that time by clicking on the live shows link on the otherworldlyculture.com website. It'll always have the link to where we are broadcasting live on YouTube. I'm your host, Tim Kretschmann, coming to you from the land of lakes and landfills, beautiful Muskego, Wisconsin. Dead On Movie Reviews is now one of 3 rotating shows on Dead On Thursdays with alternating weeks. We have Dead On the Bases, and now streaming, which is a panel discussion on a film on a free ad-supported streaming service. And now I get to introduce our faculty of fear. And tonight, instead of having 4 faculty members, it is myself and our good friend, Suzy MacIntyre. She is alternately known as a snowflake or ice princess. Suze loves Poltergeist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 and wearing tiaras randomly. She's the host of our now streaming program, which is one of our rotating programs on Dead On Thursdays. And something else we'll talk about more near the end of today's show. It'll be our first public announcement about it. So, hello, Suzy.
Hello. I've missed you. I've missed you. It's been entirely too long. It was a long summer. A great summer, but a long one.
Any non-Tim time is too long. That's just the case. That's absolutely the case. Now she feels bad for having said that. Anyway, we got an interesting show. We have, I think all of our movies are pretty recent, as I recall. So it's going to be an interesting night for everybody. Why don't we get things jamming right off the bat with Suzy? What have you been watching?
Well, I don't think it's a surprise. The Toxic Avenger, the new one, the remake. We've waited 2 years for this. It's been done. I'm not really sure what all happened. Depends on who you ask, but It was finally released. Like I said, I've waited 2 years for this. Everybody knows I'm a huge Toxie fan. And it's a year after the 40th, so there's been a lot of hype with both the original and this new one with the it being... I don't even know what I'm talking about. See? This is why we should have a summer show. Anyway.
No, yes. You and Jeff need to just shut your mouth. Your fault. I can't do it. I can't do it. I will kill all of you.
Hush. It's all coming back to me now.
Oh, there it goes.
With this one being unrated, everybody's been waiting for it. The 1984 one just celebrated its 4th anniversary. There's a huge hype. So there's a whole new generation to love my favorite Toxies. So that's what I went for. I literally have been having a countdown waiting for this. Yeah. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is mine. I think green is my color. So anyway, we can dive into it. We can start with all the characters. Everybody knows who Peter Dinklage is. He was in that Game of Thrones, which, random fact, I've never seen an episode of it. But I know everybody else has. So there. And then he was an elf. Nothing else needs said about him. I mean, he is who he is. Everybody loves him. Yeah. It's great. There's Elijah Wood, who, again, another favorite. Everybody loves him for that being that gnome thingy in that, I don't know, the Ring movie.
The jewelry throwing contest.
Yes. I know that, again, nothing more needs said. However, me personally, I love them in The Faculty. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't get to review that one tonight, but it had Josh Hartnett in it, and what needs to be said there. Anyway, I don't know. It had a great cast. I could talk about the cast all night long. but I don't think we have that much time.
Wasn't Kevin Bacon in there too?
That's what I was going with. The
Okay.
one, the only, the Kevin Bacon. Yes, he's been in everything. Most importantly, he was in Footloose, which is my second favorite movie of all time. I don't know.
That's his second most important credit. His most important is Tremors, obviously.
Didn't we do a whole retrospective?
We did. Have you ever seen, the first time we're going to go off the rails here, did you ever see his TV series, The Following?
Yes, I did.
The first season is almost perfect. After that, I'm not sure I liked it, but the first season was perfect.
Mark this in the record books. I agree with you 1,000%. Like that first season was probably some of the best television that was out there, and then it was just kind of hard to recapture, but it was great. It was.
Well, they set everything up. That's what was great. They set things up in the first episode, and it didn't pay off until the last episode of the season. It was like, oh my God. Just great stuff. Anyway, so yes, lots of stars. Lots of stars.
Jeff is not here to digress and squirrel with me, but I think I could digress with every single line I talk about with this movie. So I apologize, but you went off the rails before I did. So
I did.
We have that. Anyway, Jacob Tremblay, he plays the kid. The kid has been in over 40 IMDb credits, but I have no idea who he is. So clearly I have a lot of catching up to do. Can't say anything negative about him. I just don't know who he is, so I apologize. And then there's Taylor Page. She was most known for Beverly Hills Cop, the new one that just came out, which ironically also had Kevin Bacon in it. So there's that. But more importantly was her first role where she was one of the main dancers in High School Musical 3. So, we're all in this together. Anyway.
Oh, my God.
Listen, I love my musicals, and I love my cheese just as much as I love my scary movies. Let me have it. I wear the tiara. Hush. Anyway, where was I?
We all are wondering. Okay, you went through the cast.
Yes, that was the cast.
Yes.
Honestly, regardless of if you liked it, loved it, or hated it, everyone has their thing. Doesn't matter what you thought about the movie. No one can say that every single actor in this movie, his, her, their character, whatever, they played it perfectly. Gold star to the casting director. Like everyone in the movie, whether you liked it or not, the people that played it, they were spot on. Everyone did perfect in it.
Okay.
Honestly, can't say a word negative thing. It was great. The writers, 3 different writers, Macon Blair. If I'm saying that right, he was also the director. I personally don't know much about him, except that he does have an interesting flick on Netflix. It's I Don't Feel at Home Here Anymore. So if you haven't seen that, it is a streaming on Netflix. He did write and direct that one as well. Pretty good one. Check it out. Don't want to talk about that one because I don't know how to not give away things on it, but it's pretty neat. Okay. And then Joe Ritter, he was another one of the writers. Again, he did Toxic 1, 2, 3, 4. He did the recently released Mr. Melvin, which I could go on a whole dissertation about that, but I won't. Did the Toxic Crusaders video game. So he is Toxic. He is Trauma. So of course it worked with him being one.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you about because obviously they got and I don't want to be disparaging to past participants in Trauma films, but this is a different level of actor that they got into these movies, experience level and paycheck level.
Yes,
than they generally have. How involved was Trauma in this? Did they totally do it, or did they partner with another studio, or how did that all work? Do you know?
I guess they intermixed with it. Like I said, the writers were Trauma writers. Other than this making guy, they had a. I'm not going to say they had a lot of input in it, but they were involved in it. They were part of the writers. They each had cameos. So yeah, it was mainstream, but I'll get into it. It was Trauma as well, and that's part of what I have to say and talk about. Right? But being that said, see, again, I'm going to say this every time I screw up tonight and get tongue-tied. It's because you didn't let me have a show this summer. Yeah. Anyway. Third writer, my buddy, Lloyd Kaufman. I love him. Randomly this summer, I had a bizarre encounter where we got to take a road trip together. He's an amazing human. Again, he really is cool. You would not think that he is the way he is. He's one of the most chillest, down-to-earth guys. He's just a lot of fun. He's great. Class of Nukem being my favorite of all of his movies. If I have to explain who he is or if Trauma is, then I think we're just done here tonight, and I need to start drinking. But yeah, he was one of the writers. He got input. He's really, really happy with the movie. He's happy with how Mr. Melvin came out, which again, we're not talking about that one tonight. But no, he was rocking and rolling. I think they did a good job with it. Okay. So that's the writers, that's the directors, that's the that's my Polaroid camera. Which I did not mean to get attacked by my Polaroid tonight, but that's a perfect segue to
that's
go into.
That's the first time it hasn't been an animal attack in your studio.
Well, but that's a good segue to talk about how, even though it was a good movie, I did personally prefer the original.
Okay.
But the original I prefer, obviously, because I grew up with it. It's why I got into the whole trauma thing. I love where I can laugh at a lanky dork who's bullied and then wearing a nice fluffy pink tutu, because what's better than a pink tutu other than a tiara? He falls into toxic waste while wearing his pink fluffy tutu, and then he goes on a spree killing everybody that deserves it. Mm-hmm. So that was fun. I love the original. However, I do know that in today's world, bullying someone into toxic waste isn't laughable. Bullying's not laughable. We can't make fun of it anymore. So I understand that, we had to change things up a little bit for this one and make it a new Toxie. So instead of my bullied, lanky, pink tutu wearing, goat kissing, was it a goat? No, it was a sheep. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Okay, yeah, it was a sheep.
It was a sheep. It was a cute little sheep. Actually, there's tons of stories I could talk about.
Sexy sheep. Dead sexy.
Anyway, instead, I had to endure the sadness of not just a struggling single dad, but a struggling widowed single stepdad who just can't do anything right because, again, he's a single stepdad and stepparents don't ever do anything right.
Right.
Thank me. But in true Lloyd fashion, because it's sign of the times, he manages to both poke fun at it and bring awareness to really fucked up crap in our society. In this case, the healthcare system. So I get it. And that's when, like I said, you talk about how much input Trauma had into it. I really do think that it did touch on a lot of things that are important to Lloyd. Whether all the writers did it to respect him or if he had that much input, I don't know. But I know he was happy with it. It did have a lot of the feels of a good Trauma movie. So while the scenes of Peter pacing back and forth, banging his head on the wall, as he talks to the jackass insurance lady, talking in circles and going on and on, it makes me suffer with the sadness along with him. The over-the-top ridiculousness of all the splatter scenes and the death were exactly what I needed for the summer. So together, they kind of worked, and even if you didn't like it, it did knock out over $5 million of medical debt across the country. So it kind of worked. It was good. It was fun. I liked it. Personally, I think there should be a drinking game. Cheers. But there should be a drinking game that goes along with this movie. So hear me out.
Okay.
You take a shot for every single time there's an Easter egg, shout out, throwback, anything. Anytime they reference something from the Trauma world, you have to take a shot. And it's not just they have Easter eggs from the original Toxie. They talk about, there's a thing in there about Nukem, which again, I got excited about because I love Nukem. And even not those two, there's a turkey head in it. There's so many throwbacks to any movie that was a Trauma movie. If you're a huge fan of the Trauma world, you're going to love the movie. Now, that being said, to my dismay, I do think that's where you're going to lose viewers. That's where you're going to lose fans. That's where you're going to have people like, meh, I just didn't get it. I thought it was great fun, but personally, I worry that it was lost on a lot of people going into the theater, not knowing anything about this world. I mean, it is a cult following. It is a very certain group that loves the Trauma movies. I think if someone like my son, who's 28, saw the preview for this and went to go check it out, he was going to walk out and be like, what the fuck did you just make me watch, mother? He's not going to get it. He's going to pull it apart because he just does. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. I do think, though, that for someone who absolutely loves Trauma, that could get all of this, they're going to love it. They're going to have a great time with it. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this, that, blah, 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 blah. I don't mean to keep comparing it to the original, but I do feel like if you didn't appreciate the original, you're not going to appreciate this one. It's kind of going to go over your head a little bit.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Saying that it's referring to trauma films, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I've seen a fair amount of trauma movies. I've probably have seen more Roger Corman movies in my time, but I've seen a fair amount of trauma movies. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking if they would make a reference to Sergeant Kabuki Man or something, it would probably go past me. I'm not like deep in the lore of Traumaville.
Right.
I know there are people that are, and they're probably waiting for those little comments, etc. But for a mainstream audience, which I probably would have taken this as, let's see if we can get some mainstreamers to start checking our other stuff out. You don't really want to turn those people off. You want them to have a lot of fun with this particular movie so that they do go back and see some of the other stuff.
And I could be wrong. People that do like the mainstream, they might go in it and love it. And I hope that I am wrong. And I hope that they do enjoy it.
The mainstream isn't getting a chance to see it, though, too. Right. Because it's unrated. What did it open at? Like $1,200? The money that they made is shocking to me because they couldn't really open wide. Because they are unrated. I think they're like in a third of the theaters that other movies are allowed to open in.
But I do want to stress, it was fun. It was fun. And again, I go back to the actors. They all did an excellent job playing the characters that they played. So I do think people should check it out. And I do hope it brings a new generation to checking out the over-the-top insanity that is these movies.
So
it was
the time to give it a grade?
Yes. So I gave it 2 grades. I'm sorry.
Boy.
Figure out how, but hear me out. I gave it 2 grades for 2 reasons. Well, for 1 reason. So I gave it a C for anyone who missed the boat on it or doesn't get it. I think that if someone goes in, they're going to be like, it was okay. I don't think they're going to love it, but I don't think they're going to hate it.
Okay.
I hope it becomes a cult following for them. But for anyone who didn't just see the original, but who really appreciates the original and is going to get excited about the things like I did, I'm going to give them a B. Because it was above average, but I don't think it wowed me completely. Mm-hmm. I do appreciate it. Maybe I'm a super fan. I don't know, but yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it.
Well, I'm going to say something that you're not going to like, but this is typical for me. Anybody that gives the original Toxic Avenger much higher than a B, a lot of that is nostalgia and just crazy wildness.
No, I agree with you.
It's not a movie where they're studying it with Citizen Kane, and I think the people that made it will also tell you it's kind of a surprise that movie connected the way that it did.
I can absolutely tell you that they will say that. So yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, I give it a B. Do want to say 2 things though. Like I said, I think that it's a B only for those that can appreciate it. I have an example, but it's also a spoiler. And maybe because I'm biased, because Gary Schneider, who played Bozo in the original, is one of my favorite people. He's a stand-up guy, great guy. But there's a fan theory out there that Kevin Bacon is his Bozo. There's a scene in it where he's like, nobody calls me Bozo anymore. So that was a total epic moment right there for anybody that is in this world and gets excited, but it's going to completely go over anyone's head that isn't a goofy goof like me that loves the original.
Well, you are a goofy goof in so many different ways. It's hard to...
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
You probably should. It's the only one you'll get. All right.
Wait. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Just one more line. I do have to give an honorable movie moment mention to my favorite splatter kill of it. And this is the best part, and you'll think I'm silly. But my favorite splatter kill of it isn't even actually a kill. The car crushes like a watermelon, and you just see it splatter everywhere. So it's no harm done. And I think it's a watermelon. I don't know. It's some kind of fruit. But it goes everywhere, and it just splats. And it's hilarious because the shot of it is just the car, and it goes swoosh, and it goes poo, and it goes everywhere. But it's the perfect nod to the best splatty, splat thing of the original. So it's kind of funny.
That does sound like fun. I'm looking forward to seeing it. The only place it's playing here locally, I'm not going to. So I'll be catching it later. But
and I did get my Toxic Avenger popcorn bucket, so I'm a happy girl.
Fantastic.
Yep. All right.
All right. Well, it's my turn for a movie that I watched last night. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we did have other folks set up to do some reviews tonight, and they had to back out for various reasons. So I just let my fingers do the walking over to HBO Max and watched Sinners.
I love Sinners.
I came in with some expectations. It's one of the biggest movies of the year. It was, maybe the third collaboration between Ryan Coogler, the director, and Michael B. Jordan. And Michael B. Jordan has a flashy dual role. It got held over in all the IMAX screens earlier this year to accommodate the demand. My expectations before sitting down to watch this were sky high. On top of this...
Now that sets you up for failure, though. Hear me out. Anytime.
And let me also add this. I'm a complete vampire film mark. I actually, in college, I did an independent study on vampires. The books and the movies. I love vampire films. Fright Night, Lost Boys, the Bela Lugosi films.
What about Twilight?
Christopher Lee. Can I get through my list? Christopher Lee. Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter is one of my favorites. I love the Frank Langella Dracula. I love Gary Oldman's Bram Stoker Dracula. It's a big tent. Now, Twilight, I have only seen the first movie, and I was extremely meh on it. I don't even have a bad taste in my mouth for it. I didn't get into it. I didn't get into the Underworld movies, but I do like the Underoos that Kate Beckinsale slides around in those movies. So I could probably take or leave those flicks. But I'm a big vampire fan. So I'm going in thinking, this is a huge movie, and everything I saw, the still shots in that look great. So I start the movie, and it's doing that thing that you get when the movie is partially shot in IMAX. And you probably saw this at the theater, Suzy, because you still do a lot of theater runs.
All the time.
So you didn't get to notice this. But when you're watching this at home, IMAX fills your entire screen. And then it goes to the other sections that aren't shot in IMAX, and it becomes a longer looking thing across. So one of the things is when you're watching this at home, you kind of know when the big scenes are coming because all of a sudden it's filling the entire screen. Here's what I'm going to say, though. This movie starts off with a shot in, I'm assuming this is like Georgia or the South because they're picking cotton and that sort of thing.
Did you really just say Georgia or the South? Like it's Georgia or the rest of the South? There's a whole lot of South down there.
It felt like it was Georgia to me. It felt like Georgia. Or it could be anywhere else in the deep, deep South plantation type areas. But in any event, all the colors popped. And I noticed the color gold just jumping off the screen. They had the golden grains. There were these rich amber tones. The dirt was more of a gold than a brown or a black. It just filled the screen. The lighting was beautiful. The compositions were beautiful. In short, I think from a cinematography standpoint, this is one of the best movies I've seen in years. It is shot gorgeous. It was jaw-dropping. Here's where I had a bit of a problem is the dialect that everybody is speaking in this movie. I was having a hard time catching every word. I'm a Midwestern guy. I couldn't catch everything that was being said. And when I reached for the subtitles, for some reason, subtitles wasn't working on Max last night.
Huh.
So I kind of felt like I might have been missing some things. That being said, I could follow the movie. It was just once in a while. There were some things that they said, and I rolled it back, and I watched it the third time, and I'm like, okay, I'm just never going to get this. Now, this movie is really interesting. It's a new IP, which a lot of ink has been spread about how Ryan Coogler did this incredible deal that he owns this IP and he gets all the money from it and all this stuff. But it's really interesting. It's kind of like the Untouchables in the antebellum South meet vampires, but the dialogue is written by Quentin Tarantino in some sort of deep South spin. I think if that's the taste you're looking for, you're really going to enjoy this film. To me, this had one of the same issues I had with Quentin Tarantino's Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight has one of the longest slow burns I've ever seen, and I felt it overstayed its welcome by about 15 minutes before things got going. This movie, I felt, again, it was about 25 minutes too late when they finally started getting things rolling. The other part that I didn't like, and if you think back about this, Suzy, it's absolutely true. What was probably going to be the best scene in the movie happens entirely off screen. And I'm not going to get too deep into spoilers, but at one point the vampires are making lots of other little vampires, right? And
I was going to go with I think I know what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah, all of that's happening in the parking lot while we're sitting there inside the building chit-chatting. And while I was interested in what's going on in the chit-chat, I was almost out of the movie by this time because it took too long to get there. So that vampire itch I had, I didn't felt was scratched. Now, it gets extremely violent, extremely gritty at the end there. So I don't want to discourage anybody from seeing it. It is expertly crafted. It's gorgeous. The direction is great. The script is good. I believe they needed an editor, but it was good. It's set in an interesting historical era, but I can't, as much as I'm not discouraging you to see it, I can't recommend, hey, you got to go out and see this thing, because I don't think it's for everybody at all. Which is surprising with the type of money it made.
What I think is interesting, if I may interject.
Yeah.
Look, I even asked for permission. See how polite I am?
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
you were disappointed in it because you heard how amazing it was.
Yeah.
I was told not to go see it in the theaters. Like, I was actually told, it's like, from people that did love it, but know me very well, they're like, you're not going to love it. Watch it at home. And I didn't want to watch it at home.
Yeah.
And so they kind of set the bar low for me. And I thought, because how long it was, that, like, again, it's not a me thing. But I did. I wanted to go see it in the theaters. I needed my popcorn. Went and saw it.
This movie isn't even that long. It's over 2 hours.
Right,
but these days, a Marvel movie, they just got done with the credits at the 2 hour mark.
But I don't do 2 hour movies. 2 hour movies are too long for me. Yeah. However, because the bar was set low and I went in thinking, oh, I need my extra large popcorn. I'm going to have to pee. I'm gonna, all this stuff like, oh, how many times am I going to check my phone? Yeah. I set my little timer like I always do. And guess what? I did not check my phone during this movie.
That's incredible, because I think
didn't get up.
There was a point in the movie where I almost fell asleep.
Nope. I didn't pee. I didn't check my phone to see if I was missing a text. I didn't check my timer. I loved everything about it. But I think it's because the bar was set low for me. I thought I was going to have all this stuff, and I didn't, and I loved it. And you missed talking about the best scene of the whole movie, which I'm sorry, you got to give credit to the singers and the dancers. That whole little Irish vampire thing, that was awesome.
I'm going to tell you something, and this is probably why I didn't like the movie as much. I thought all the horse shit about music, I wanted to pee on. I was like, that's not just garbage.
No,
And that's the major theme of the movie. And I was like, I didn't like it.
You're wrong.
No, I didn't like that aspect. And I realized that's what they were bringing to be new to the vampire mythology and gave it a reasoning and all this stuff. And it gave it a logic. I've been very clear and very I'm very consistent on this. I feel like adding logic to horror movies is a mistake. I just do.
I do.
Whenever they sit there and we have to have a motive for Michael Myers. No, you don't. He's scarier when he doesn't have a motive.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But I loved this movie.
I understand liking this movie a lot. There's a lot to like. I just wasn't, and I'm gonna get to my grade here right quick. If it ever sets the hell up. There it is. I can only give it a C in good conscience. Again, beautiful film to watch. Beautiful. But just not my cup of tea. Just not my cup of tea. And I know that's kind of a shocking number, but I'd be lying or, just trying to make other people feel good if I gave it anything other than a C. I felt it was a middling effort. Well, I shouldn't say that.
That's
It
sad.
was well produced. It just wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing in any way, shape, or form. So, okay, which brings us now to you, Susie. Once again, you have another movie.
I do. I ran out last night, and I went to see The Conjuring Last Rites. So yeah, I actually saw that. I had a double feature last night, but I mean, we don't need to talk about the other one. But I went and saw this one, and then I went and saw Spinal Tap too. So yeah, I did a double feature.
Woo!
Yeah.
Spend that money.
Right, I like it, and I got popcorn the whole time, so that was even better. I got popcorn, and I got a little beaver that the popcorn goes in, and it was hilarious. Oh, and
None of us want to hear about your little beaver.
Yeah, so I had that for the popcorn, and then I had a dinosaur cup to drink out of with my Coke, and it went roar. It was great. So anyway, but that's besides the point. So, Conjuring, Last Rites. Believe it or not, it is my second favorite one in the Conjuring lineup.
Really? I've been hearing so many different things. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not gonna say it was great, but out of all of them, it was like I did not like the last one.
What was your favorite?
I think I liked the second one more than the first one.
See, I'm opposite of you then.
Well, it's because the second one had that creepy little crooked guy, and those things freak me out. Anytime a movie has that, like the creepy, bendy, whatever, those things.
The body horror type of thing.
I guess, is that what we call it? I don't know. And like
usually like the movie Society. You know that movie?
Yes,
that's body horror.
It's funny that you should mention that.
Yeah.
But because I was going to mention that later. But yeah, those things like creep me out, and so the second one scared me more than the first one did. So I like the set. So I
was the other way around. I thought the first one was one of the best horror movies I've seen in years and years.
So I think I liked the second one, and then this one, and the first one are tied, and then I really don't want to count the Devil Made Me Do It one. I just couldn't get into that one at all.
I haven't even seen that one yet.
Yeah,
because
you're not.
two didn't do anything for me, so I didn't run out to see that one. And all the Nun and Annabelle stuff, except there was one of the last Annabelles I thought was okay.
I did like the Annabelle ones. I did not like the Nun movies. I could not.
Yeah, I didn't care for the Nun stuff at all. And Annabelle, the first one I didn't like. I think it's the second one that I thought was good.
I like the Annabelle ones. They were fun for me. But yeah, the second Conjuring scared me, and this one had a lot of jump scares, so I liked it.
Oh,
But
good.
that's me.
Yeah.
So, Madison Lawler and Orion Smith, I don't know if I'm saying their names right, but they actually played at the beginning of the movie. It's kind of a flashback, and it shows it's the two of them, and they play a young Ed and Lorraine.
Okay.
One of the things that I liked about it was they played it so well that I actually thought it was Patrick and Vera who have been playing them. I thought it was them, and they just kind of made them look younger.
Oh, did the de-aging thing?
Yeah, like I honestly thought they did that because they really did play those parts to perfection, in my humble opinion.
I can say hiring those two to play the parts was the best step in the entire movie universe that they created there, because they both weren't obvious choices, and they're just perfect in the roles.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that. So I have to give a nod to that. So it started out good. And then after the first few scenes where the younger Warrens with them, then we kind of jumped to the 80s, which is the greatest decade. So it had a perfect soundtrack. That's besides the point. I'm getting ahead of myself. But so we jumped to the 80s, and then we once again have Patrick and Vera playing everyone's favorite or least favorite if you're not a fan, but everybody's favorite paranormal power couple. So this one, it brings their daughter into the mix now. So their daughter, who I think it was in the Annabelle movies where they have her and she's like younger and everything.
Right.
Now she's grown. I guess she's out of college, so she's in her 20s. So it brings her, and she has this boyfriend fiance into the mix. And a lot of it in the beginning of the movie is about like how she has like the same power, vision, clairvoyant, whatever thing that the mom does, and her mom's been trying her whole life to have her tune it out and not be part of it. So the daughter's played by Mia Tomlinson, I think. I literally know nothing about her. She's listed as an actress, writer, director. I got nothing. I mean, she was okay in it, but I just don't know anything about her. Boyfriend / fiance. I keep saying boyfriend / fiance because he's exactly that. He's the boyfriend, and then he proposes. And that's actually a fun, cute little scene. It has nothing to do with horror, but it's comical, and it's very... I don't know. It's funny. He plays this idiot boy, and Daddy Warren plays like a dad who's just like, who's this idiot marrying my daughter? So it's kind of fun and, fancy. But anyway, besides the point. Anyway, it's played by Ben Hardy. He was in Six Underground, which is a great movie, Bohemian Rhapsody, X-Men Apocalypse. So he's been in a bunch of stuff, and he really did do a great job of being like a meh. Do I hate him? Do I like him? He's an idiot. That kind of thing. So he does a good job. I do love the on-screen chemistry, like you were saying, from Patrick and Vera. They have it together. They've always had it. I love seeing those two together. So I am a little sad that this is the final one in the series, but at the same time, I do really, really hope this is the final one they don't have anymore. Like, it's time.
Yeah, I wonder if it is the last one after what it just did in the box office. Those that don't know, it is the largest grossing first weekend of a horror film, I believe, even internationally.
Really? I thought you were going to tell me it didn't do well.
No, it was gigantic. They expected it to make about a third of what it actually made in the opening weekend. It still remains to be seen if it can hold those numbers through time. And I haven't reviewed, how it's doing and all that to be up to the minute on it. But the opening weekend was like stupid huge. And nobody was expecting that. And when there's that type of money, it's very hard to not have a sequel because the money starts being spent. Wilson would say no, but all of a sudden the right check comes across. I think I'll do it,
No. They need, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. This just needs to end. It needs to end on a good note. We need to move on to a new franchise. Just end. Yes. And
the one thing that I think is going to make that happen is James Wan has got some sort of argument going with the studio that's making
Yay,
this. I think it's Warner Brothers. So I think he's walking away from the Conjuring universe.
Yeah, so then you know what? They're going to get someone else to do it because, like you said, they made money, and then that one's going to suck, and it's going to tarnish the whole franchise. So
I'll be following what James Wan does next. I'm not necessarily going to be following the
see, that thing that you just put up on the screen, she was creepy as hell. Every single time that little whatever that thing is, that ghosty thing,
that old hag looking thing.
Everybody that I was at the theater with was making fun of me because even if it wasn't a scary scene, but she would like popped up, I jumped out of my seat. I don't know why. Maybe this is why I should look at my phone more so I don't make an ass out of myself and jump. But I really did jump every single time. So like I said, the end of the battle scene was lame. That's the only thing that I will be negative about. I enjoyed the ending, like the end battle where they like, yay, we won. Mm-hmm. That was a little lame. I was like, meh. But the end of it, because spoiler, the daughter gets married in the end. But it had a bunch of cameos from, you would like it because the mom from the very first one, she's at the wedding. And so it showed, and like the boy from the second one. So it was cute because it has, which is again why I wish and I hope that they do make this the end, because it had cameos from like all the different people from all the different movies. So it was a good closure.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Conjuring series and all the little offshoots, they've never done the Amityville Horror, right?
No, they've talked about it. Yeah. Like, was it the set? I think it was it? Which one was it? It might have been The Devil Made Me Do It, which is what I would say. But in one of them, they talk about it where like they were there and then they go on to something.
I think in the first movie, they make a reference to it when they're in the room with the Annabelle and these are the cursed eyes.
I know that they make a reference to it, but no, they did not they don't have one.
Because
don't you have any idea?
What I'm thinking is going to happen, and I think I heard it on one of the other, movie talking head type shows. I think what they're going to do is Amityville Horror with the Warrens of some kind. And what they might do to make it interesting is make it about the filming of the original movie. So then they can have, the Warrens meet the people that are making the movie and maybe have something happening there. I don't know.
It's just a terrible idea. It is a terrible, terrible idea.
And that stopped how many movies?
Well,
that made a lot of money.
No, I didn't have a voice for those movies. I have a voice for this one. Don't do it.
But you enjoyed it. What type of grade are we talking, Susie?
Well, great soundtrack. Great choice in football teams. One of the girls wears a Steeler jersey the whole time, which was great. So they got that right. Had even greater jump scares. Was it perfect? No. Will it keep me from sleeping at night? Probably, because that chick was scary. Will it have me Googling Conjuring Last Rite Facts versus Fiction? Absolutely. That's all I did last night after I watched it. So it did its job and it did it well. I give it a B-. It would be a B if the ending wasn't so meh. Not that it was bad.
Understandable.
I'm like, okay, this is kind of cheesy. So yeah, it gets a B-. It was good. I do encourage you to see it.
All right. Fantastic. Well, that leads us to my last film. And I took a movie that I had a lot of Oscar buzz.
It did.
And that doesn't happen unless Kathy Bates is in your film.
Wasn't it like 2.5 hours too? It was way longer than a movie I normally watch.
I think it was. It was lengthy. I know I was looking at the clock on occasion, but it wasn't horribly paced. And before I get too far, I'm talking about 2024's The Substance. Now, and we talked about it briefly earlier, body horror. Body horror always makes me uncomfortable, and that's what this movie does. And to such an extreme, I think it loses some of its punch. And there is a even weaker point, but I'll get to that later on in my review. It's a weird movie. There's no question. The titular substance is some special pseudo-cosmetic medication that causes someone to split into a second younger and more beautiful entity. They explain this weirdness well in the movie, but I don't know that I can wrap it up for you without spoilers or without all this stuff. But basically, wonder drug causes weirdness, and it's this basic split of a personality. There's a lot of creepy sketchiness to the pushers or the manufacturers of this drug. And what I found interesting was the instructions on how to administer the many pharmaceuticals involved in the process. It's kind of like this thing that they have these big labels telling you, okay, inject this into your arm, put this here. And a lot of medical stuff now has that. And it has all these packaging that they're opening. I just recently was in the hospital with a situation with one of my parents, and I couldn't believe the amount of packaging these guys are ripping open for, oh, we have to put a bandage on. Here's 500 pounds of packaging to do this. This movie kind of tunes into that. So you kind of, it's weird because the substance, the entire time you're watching it, it looks like this is some legitimate medical thing that was produced by a big medical type thing. But then to get it, you have to go into a grungy little locker room. And so it's like, how sketchy is it? You don't really know. Now, where I was getting the big Oscar buzz is this was kind of a comeback type role for Demi Moore. She plays a celebrity fitness TV personality, and she's hitting that certain age when women are no longer valued for their beauty. That's kind of the truth both in this role, the character she's playing, and her actual career. It's kind of the basis of a what if that Twilight Zone always did with the cursed gift. It's a standard structure you've seen in Tales of the Crypt that was used in its comics and the TV series. And if you ever saw the TV series Friday the 13th, the series, it's always like you have a flawed character. They're given something that is magical that will fix them, but because of their flaw in their character, they don't follow the instructions correctly, or they make decisions with this magical gift that causes dire circumstances. So
they get greedy.
Yeah, so right at the beginning of the movie, you know this is going to go poorly for her. Now,
I have to say, I was shocked with some of the scenes. Like you said, it was about body image, and Demi Moore's kind of right there. I was shocked with some of the scenes that they had with her. Like, I was like, wow, I can't believe she did that. I
think this might have been even more nudity than she had in Striptease.
Yeah.
I will gladly go and check that out. And let me tell you, part of what makes this interesting is because Demi Moore is still beautiful. She's still drop dead gorgeous, but she's just a little bit older, and she isn't as beautiful as she was when she was 20. And that's what kind of makes it gives it kind of an extra little push. It's kind of like I always say with Fatal Attraction. If you watch Fatal Attraction, Michael Douglas cheats on Ann Archer with Glenn Close. I'm sorry, any red-blooded male that has Ann Archer is not running to Glenn Close. They're not. Ann Archer is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, okay? But that's where you kind of sit there and you go, it's just bad decision making. It's bad self-worth that's going on. Now, she works for a producer that's played by Dennis Quaid.
He does a great job.
He is consuming scenery. He is so over the top in this movie. He is just off the rails.
Now I have a question. Can I interject and ask a question? Because this is pertains to this. I heard, so I want to know if you heard this when you were watching it or doing your research, that role was actually supposed to be for Ray Liotta, but he died. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
I didn't either, but someone told me that, and I wasn't sure if it was true or not.
If it is true or not, I could see where that role would work for Ray Liotta.
But I think Dennis Quaid just...
But I think Dennis Quaid, he did it, but I think it's also one of the problems in the movie. So I'll get to that as well.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
What's so frustrating for the viewer is that you're watching this and she loses this job, right? But she's still gorgeous. She has an incredible LA apartment, so you know that she's rich. She doesn't really need to do anything. Just retire. You're done. Right. That's fine. But she has no family. She has no friends, so she's isolated.
Hey, she could have had not a hot date, but she could have had a guy that liked her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that they put into this movie, and this is why it's as long as it is. They put a lot of stuff in here that you go, if only she would have stopped at this point. Or if she would have done this, she would have been fine. But she keeps making poor choices. So this is, they take a unique twist on what in essence is a Fountain of Youth movie. You take this goo and you split into a younger, beautiful new self and your older self. It isn't that the substance just makes you younger. Now, the thing that she splits into is Sue, who's a younger version. She takes over for Demi in this television show that they have, while Demi's older self is stuck in a closet hooked up to IV bags of food to sustain her. And there's all sorts of rules. There's like 1,000, well, actually it's only like 3 or 4 rules, but you got to follow them.
You got to follow them.
And of course, nobody does, because otherwise not movie, right? In taking over Demi's life, she regains the TV show, but she doesn't follow these rules. There's chances to back out, but Demi doesn't read the writing on her wall, doesn't read the room, and here's the thing. She's making bad decisions. In so many horror movies, when you see a character make dumb decisions, you go, what an idiot. What a fool. And you don't really understand why they made such a dumb decision. What Demi does here that makes her so good in this role is you understand fully why she's doing it. You wouldn't do it, but you understand why she is doing it. Now, here's where my biggest problem is, and it isn't the pacing, despite its length, but they made the world into an allegory. And what I mean is things like Sue, her counter person, she never gets a last name in the entire movie. I don't think Quaid's character is named. He's just like the boss. The big show that's the climax of the movie is called the New Year's Show. So they're doing things that's almost like, and even the branding of, quote, the substance looks like a 1980s generic approach. You know, it's white package, black type on it. Like the old generic stuff. Not like today where they make up a pseudo brand like Roundy's or something and say, okay, here's your generic. It's not really generic. Now, here's the thing. No one was going to watch this movie and go, oh my God, this is a true story, right? By making it that extra step of allegory, it kind of holds you at arm's length. It doesn't draw you all the way in. You're like, ha, that person's different than me. They're well outside me. This can never happen to me, blah, blah, blah. I think had it grounded itself a little more, put it in the real world, not have everything explode giant outside of reality, I think it would have been more chilling. I think it would have been more frightening. As it is, it's a huge gore fest, over the top. It's bloody as hell. It's got excellent effects, but I think had they grounded it a little bit more, I think it would have had a stronger punch. By the same token, that's also kind of the charm of the movie, that it is so stylistic, that it is so different.
You kind of said exactly what I said when I was watching it, sort of. You said the same thing, but said it differently, if that makes any sense.
More eloquently, yeah.
Well, when we started watching it, I was like, oh, I see why it won all the Oscars. It's this artsy whatever, with shots, like the way that it started out, and they were doing all these little shots that were like, I don't know.
Right.
Whatever.
Artistic.
Yes. So I thought it was this very artistic, new whatever movie. Right. And then out of nowhere, it stops with the artsy and just goes completely off the rails into ridiculous insanity.
The end of the movie is society as done by
thank you. And that's why that's exactly what I was gonna say to you when you mentioned it. I thought it was funny that you mentioned that earlier, because when I watched The Substance, exactly, without giving away the ending for people that didn't see it, when I saw the ending, I said, gee, I wonder if they're fans of Society, because this reminds, 1,000% reminded me exactly of that.
You want to hear something even funnier?
What?
I'm assigning Society to Jeff later this season.
Oh, God.
Dead on the basis. I can't wait. All right. Well, I'm going to grade this. I'm going to give it a B+. I liked it a lot, but I think had they grounded it a little bit more, it would have went from almost there to a classic for me. This is a movie I don't foresee myself watching again.
I can see that.
I feel like been there, done that, Now we're at the time in the show where we do our just shameless plugging as we go, and we're going to start with our friends in the horror realm.
Yay!
It is coming February 27th through March 1st. It's got a new location this year.
That's literally 4-5 months away. I got to start packing now.
Yeah, you got to start polishing your tiara. I do want to remind people that if you have a film you'd like to submit to our film room, send it to HR, Horror Realm, Film, pgh@gmail.com. Submit it by December 1st, and we will look at it for this year's film room. Also want to remind folks that we got some great guests that we have mentioned this just most recently. Allie from AEW said she's coming. She's a huge horror fan and has a popular podcast about that. This is adding to our other headliners, like our good friend William Cat. Can't wait to see him. Andrew Divoff of the Wishmaster series. And, of course, I am very excited that to celebrate Jaws 50, we have Jeffrey Kramer will be out. And I just rewatched Jaws 2, and I'm reading the book right now to get myself ready for that interaction. Eduardo Sanchez, the director of the original Blair Witch Project, will be on hand. And then in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we have Caroline Williams and Bill Moseley will be here. From The Silent Night, Deadly Night, we have the first two Santas, Eric Freeman and Robert Brian Wilson, taking care of Garbage Day. And we have Tara Buckman, who was in, I believe, the first Silent Night, Deadly Night, and he did a lot of work, mostly Filling My Dreams was her work in Cannonball Run. We have a lot of other great guests as well, including Dina DiLorenzo, one of the leads of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Ottavio Del Acqua, I know I'm mispronouncing that, but he's from Zombie, Italian classic. And Jennifer Jostin of House of a Thousand Corpses are going to be there, as our popular supernatural investigative podcasters, Grim Life Collective. They're going to be there as well. So pretty exciting group that they have put together for that that convention, and I happen to know there's more to come.
Woo woo!
All I am allowed to say. Let's see. Then we have Dead on Thursdays. This coming up Thursday. Well, there we go. We have Now Streaming coming this Thursday. It's going to have Suzy, Tim Godak, Marcus, and Mike Cieslak. I think that's the first time Mike is going to be on your show.
Yay! That's a great lineup of people, just have to say.
Yeah, and you got an interesting movie.
We do. It's actually one of my all-time favorites.
Okay.
Am I allowed to talk about that one or no?
Yes,
I don't know.
you're to talk about it. That was called a lead-in. Suzy, that was a lead-in. You're going to talk
I don't
now.
know. Maybe it's a teaser, not a lead-in. I don't know.
You can tell them. 1979.
If we had a show during the summer so I wouldn't forget all of this, then maybe I would have known. Anyway, it's from 1979. It is Jesus. Over the Edge, not to be confused with the cartoon Over the Hedge. This one, like I said, takes place in the 70s. It's our back to school special, so it's all about kids going back to school and the idiot parents they have. I don't want to give away too much, but it's another one that it's a drug-fueled, let's try to just get back at our parents and educators that we can't stand. It goes off the rails. Has Matt Dillon in it. It's a great movie. All right, and that's coming next week, Thursday, at the same location. Now, let's go to our friend Tim. He has Dark Side Collectibles in Plum, Pennsylvania, and I think, Suzy, you want to tell us about a special event he has coming up. Yes, well, it's not just him. We actually are collaborating. It is our first collaboration of Dark Side Collectibles and Suzy Snowflake, Suzy Snowflake 412 LLC, where we will be doing event planning and having, it's not conventions. I don't want to take away from any conventions. Don't want to confuse the two. It is actually going to be an intimate evening. We're going to be doing them maybe more than once a year. Can't really tell you everything. Stay tuned for that. But this one's actually really, really interesting. Everybody knows Sean Weiss from the Mighty Ducks. He was Goldberg, the goalie. No one really knows, though, that he has now taken a dip into the horror world. So it's going to be a really, really awesome evening. He's going to be there. It's going to be an up close and personal there's going to be VIP packages. You actually get to have dinner with him and see, it's not released yet, his brand new movie. Ooh. Where he takes a stab with horror, and you actually get to sit down with him and watch this movie that it's not streaming anywhere. It's not out in theaters yet. He gets to sit down, watch it with you, talk to you about it. There's going to be a Q&A with it where you can ask him anything you want. We're going to have professional photo ops of him actually in like the little goalie thing. So yeah, it's actually going to be the perfect night. It's going to be his horror world and his Mighty Duck world. It's phenomenal. There's 3 different tier packages, depending on what you want. Like I said, if you want to have dinner with him, obviously that's the higher package. But if you just want to come out, see the film, and get your autograph with him, we have the lower packages. But he's pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about it. Tim is through the roof excited about it. So yeah, it's going to be amazing, and I really, really hope everybody shows up. That's going to be pretty exciting, and that's coming on February 7th. And don't worry, we'll have more information on our website as it comes closer and closer. Now we want to introduce everybody to something that's coming at a Monday very soon. I believe we are going to be going already next Monday with the Monday Mayhem with MacIntyre and Miller. So I love it. Tell us. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So tell us a little bit about what the Monday Mayhem is all about. It's going to be pure mayhem. I have no idea. We don't know where it's going to go. It's Jeffy Jeff and his little ball cap and myself and my tiara. We are going to be talking all different kinds of things. We're going to be talking about movies. We're going to be talking about conventions. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite actors and actresses. Who knows? They might even drop in. If they drop in, we're going to find out where you can go see them, what they have going on, their next conventions. We're going to be talking about conventions, some of our favorite vendors, all that kind of stuff. It is going to be the place to go and just listen to everything that we got going on. Not just what we got going on, but what some of your favorite convention celebrities have going on. We're just gonna jump on this thing and see where it goes, and it's gonna be a glitter-filled train wreck full of just greatness.
And I think what's got me most excited, it's going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be a very easy show to keep
There's
up
no
with
way it's going to be 30 minutes. Have you met us?
When I'm done with it, it's going to be 30 minutes.
Well, I can't wait. I hope
Like this show is an hour, right?
I can't tell you everything about it because then you wouldn't tune in. But if you don't tune in, you're going to miss some really, really fun, awesome stuff and some really cool celebs. So,
we will have live chats for all those. Again, keep tuned to otherworldlyculture.com. We have the information will be on the live page. It's a lot of fun, so stay tuned for that as well.
Monday. MacIntyre, little Monday.
Yeah, do you like that I had a little close tap there?
I love it.
I think that fits you guys so
It does.
well.
That's the thing. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I love it.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and that's coming this Monday, so stay tuned for that. Remember to rate us, like us, and follow us on any of the podcast applications or on Twitch and YouTube. I forget to do this thing. Oh, man. Now I'm lost. I lost myself again. Here we go.
See?
There. Subscribe, everybody.
It's a summer show.
You know, the shows get all too complicated for me, and I'm elderly, and I'm on fixed income. So remember to rate us, like us, follow us, subscribe on any of the podcast applications or on YouTube. You know, we're going to keep putting them out to you here on Otherworldly Culture. You can follow us on most of the social medias, except for TikTok, because Jeff was going to do that. And, I mean, what else do I have to say? Jeff was going to do that. So it's going to be good times. And we hope that you enjoy this season of Dead On Movie Reviews. This is our first of the season. We're probably going to have more panelists in the next episode, but I thought we did pretty good, Susie.
We rocked it because we're awesome.
I can't disagree with you when you're right.
I'm always right.
All right, everybody. So remember, when you aim at horror, make sure your aim is dead on. See you next time. Otherworldlyculture.com.